Are you able to hear the audio?
No, sir, we are not able to hear the audio.
Something. Okay. I'll convey it myself. No problem. Let's not waste time. Something is wrong in the settings or at your end. I do not know what is it. We will manage it. No problem. So now see that water is one of the most important resources that we have, as I conveyed you. And if you take the world's water, it's 97.5% fully is salty, which means only 2.5% is available for us to use. And out of that, two-thirds is already blocked in polar ice caps and glaciers. So what we have is only 0.5 percentage of water available with us, which can be consumed. Only 0.5 percentage of water is available for us to use. Believe me, the 0.5 percentage itself is used for all industry, everything. So now the point is very simple. Out of that, if the world are out of that, only 0.07 percentage of water is safe for consumption, which means that you do not have safe water at all everywhere for consumption, and it is a basic right which is getting denied for all of us. So we need to find out a mechanism, and the most affected regions for water crisis is East Africa, Africa, generally Latin America, and Asia. So what is the solution? When there is a problem, there must be a solution, and that is what we did. We built an extremely smart solution for getting the water quality monitored properly. That's called smart water. We have built it from scratch, and if you see that, you'll be really happy. This is the first version that we have built. The second version had sensors. The third version was a boat which we have built all ourselves, and the fourth version was fully navigatable boat. This was the first version that we have built, and you could see that we have done it in a 7-Up bottle. The 7-Up bottles are available in both the sides of the boat, and the center box that is available, right, the plastic throwaway box, that box is nothing but Vicks Action 500 box that we have taken from the nearby pharmacy. This was our first boat. So you should not say that I do not have money for testing. You should not say that I do not have somebody to fund me. So we do not have that requirement. I mean, we can do it ourselves with available materials. You can see that this was the first version that was nicely done, and it was the first testing that we have done in a water body that was available in the university. It went very nice, and the navigation was all very smooth. The left, right, forward, backward, all this navigation was done with your phone's accelerometer. We have got the phone's accelerometer, right? We have used that, and the phone's accelerometer was the one that helped us out in getting all this done. You could see that. So very simple setup. We have used a simple Arduino microcontroller and a navigation unit, which helped us in getting the navigation done. Left, right, forward, and backward. All these are done here. But this is just a navigation unit. Now, what do we need? We need to add sensors to it, and we could have sensors which were sponsored by Cisco by then. We were participating in the Cisco Ideate national contest, and this was done for it. So they sponsored us the sensors. The pH sensor and the temperature sensor were sponsored by them, and we connected it. And now you could see that it's all connected to this boat, and it started collecting data for us. Now this boat can go around. You can set the source and destination. It will keep going around, and it will get the data for you real time. And this data is nicely received, and we started understanding how exactly the water quality data will look like. I mean, how exactly your data will look like is a most important point to realize, and we started realizing it only at this level. So the next version, this boat was not stable. When you keep it in a turbulent environment, it will probably stumble and fail. So what we did, we had to go to the next version, and we used our carpentry skills. The first year we had carpentry in the lab, right? For engineering, any student be you would have gone through the carpentry lab. We used the same thing, and we went to carpentry, and we built this one boat all by ourselves. You can see that there is a Maruti 800 tire tube. You can see that here. I will show you that again. You can see that there is a tire tube which is available in the bottom of the boat. You can see that now. This tire tube is the one that is used as a floater. The floaters were costly. We did not have money to buy it. So what we did, we pulled out an old tire, and we had a tire tube inside it. We inflated it, and we used it as a floater. And then we started building our fully functional USV. We call it unmanned surface vehicle, and it's all fully functional. It can withstand turbulence. It's a very nice boat. Now we can see that the boat is all going by itself, and it's a very nice testing that we have done. We have tested it in multiple water bodies in Coimbatore also. We could collect the water quality data real time every time, and we could draw the ClarPath map so nicely. The ClarPath map is plotted all in seconds, And we have tested it in our swimming pool to understand how exactly the data comes. That's most important, right? We need to visualize the data. So what did we do? We took this boat to the swimming pool and we tested it in the 60x20 swimming pool, and we tested it so many times to see millions of data entries. Only when you see so much data, you can predict what will be the water quality, you can understand what is the water quality, and all these are done literally in-house. I mean in-house. In-house in the sense we did not buy anything from outside. All of these are crafted by our students. I mean, I have three students working with me, and you can see that the testing is all happening here. The boat goes, it takes the data, it comes back. That's it. All this happen in second. And we back up the data also in a local SD card so that it can be used for future. And this data is analyzed and you get an immediate ChlorPath map for you to understand the quality parameters of the swimming pool or any water resource. All these are done at a very low cost. The entire expenses that we have made is somewhere close to just 25,000 rupees, and that is very inexpensive considering this kind of systems that we have built. It is a very huge system which has got a lot of data, a lot of processing. All these are happening, but yet it is done at a very cheaper cost. So the point is simple. You can see the data here in front of you. We have used MATLAB for the processing and the analysis purpose, and the data is all acquired here. First column is the temperature. The second column, you can see the lat and long is there. pH is recorded. All these are available. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to change the range. I'm changing the range. You can see that I'm changing the range of the temperature from 30 to 32. When I run it, we have integrated with Google Earth. And when I run it, the next second, you get a very clear, yet a very neat and concise, a very fast generator ChlorPath map. Similarly, now I'm changing the range for the pH. I'm changing the range from 1 to 14. When you generate it, you will see the pH map generated immediately with available data. You can see that the pH is all nicely recorded as 8 point something and above. It is because the swimming pool was just added with chlorine. So it has a good quality there, and you can get this data real time, and we have made it really nice. The next version of the boat is furthermore a enhanced version where we had a lot of inclusion in terms of adding technology to it. What did we do? Very simple. We added a drone over it. I added a drone over it because this boat cannot go in all the terrains, and we added a drone to it. And the drone can eject itself and it can automatically go off to collect the data and come back. And remember the point, the most important point here to be understood is we are not collecting water, we are collecting data. We are not wasting one drop of water. We are collecting data real time, and we do not delay anything. All those things are done real time immediately for your quicker reference. So that is the best part of it, and you should be able to appreciate it for sure. The entire setup costed us somewhere close to 25,000 rupees or lesser than that, and we were able to do it real time. And this was appreciated by many, and we got the first prize in the Cisco IDA challenge, beating many IITs as well. And we have got the second prize in the CAA challenge that was conducted by Confederation of Indian Industry here in Coimbatore. So that's it. This product was very simple, yet a very powerful product. I hope you liked it. Was it interesting, all of you? Was it interesting? Was
Yes,
it
sir,
easy?
it was interesting, sir.
That's a very simple product. Now what we are doing is we are taking up the same product to the next level, where in industries also they monitor quality of the acids, quality of the materials, and all those things. They manually inject some material and then they collect the data. At times it hurt them. At times it is causing injuries and damages. So what are we doing? We are sending the same boat, the boat with the material that cannot be damaged by the acid or the surface of the material over there, and can go ahead and take the data and come back in seconds. All this happens in seconds, really. So that's the best part of it. Innovation is something that has to happen at this extent. Whenever you have a problem, if you feel that there is a problem, that problem has to be addressed through simplest projects. And that's what we are doing. Now, the next one I'm going to show you is very, very interesting, and I hope you will definitely be liking it. I'm going to tell you that, and I will also show you the demo. Right? So are you all geared up for it? I'm going to show you a very important demo, which we have tried out at Kerala. Kerala is pretty close to me. I mean, it's just about 50 kilometers away from me. Kerala is famous for multiple things, and one of the very important things is elephant. Kerala is very famous for elephants. There are multiple elephants there. There are a lot of forest ranges there, so elephants are there. Now, the point is simple. You must have heard of this, or you must have read this somewhere. Like, the elephants are killed because they intruded into the human living area. You must have seen this news. Elephants intruded into the human ranges, human areas, so they were attacked. or elephants attacked the humans and people were injured. You must have seen that also. Or you must have seen this news where the elephants have destroyed the crops. The total crops were destroyed by elephants, and that's also a news that you would often hear. And because of all these, the elephants are being attacked, the elephants are being troubled, and in turn humans are also troubled. This is technically called as human elephant conflict. Remember, human elephant conflict. This comes under a vast area called human animal conflict. It's there everywhere. Why is it coming, sir? Very simple. The areas that we are living are not the areas that we have to live. We are actually encroaching the areas where animals live. That's the reason they come. They come to their area, and they are not coming to my area or your area. They are coming to their safest area. But since it is occupied, they have no other option other than to attack you. They have no other option other than to tell you that they are upset. So they tell you through the vigorous action, because they are the strongest of the animals on the earth. They attack. And the another problem that we have seen when we started working on this product is the problem of railway rails hitting the elephant. The in between forest the trains go, and elephants cross it, and elephants are hit and hurt by trains. So many elephants in the countries have been killed. So many. So what is the solution, sir? Story is fine, we understood it. What is the solution? There is one solution. You have to find elephants before its arrival. You will have to find before it's coming. If it is determined that elephants are coming well before time, you can burn crackers, you can raise noise, you can do something and divert them. You can divert. You should not threaten them, you should not trouble them. You should divert. There are techniques like beehives. You have artificial beehives are there, which raise the noise of bees, honeybees, and the elephants go away. Elephants are afraid of bees. They go away. So we have done a lot of research on this. You cannot kill, you should not trouble, you should use technology. So what we have done is very simple. We have used seismic sensors. There are sensors available called seismic sensors, which can be kept under the soil. I have kept it under the soil. So we have kept it under multiple regions in the elephant prone areas. We have kept high-end cameras. The AI vision cameras are there. We have kept the cameras right on the top of the trees. The cameras capture the video real time. We process it. The sensors capture the data real time, and we process it. And if A and B is true, we predict that elephants are coming. We predict elephants are coming, and immediately we give an alert to the nearby authority or the forest rangers to make sure that elephants are safeguarded, while also alerting the villages or the concerned area people who are nearby to be safeguarded. So both the problems are resolved. Same system can be implanted for the railway track. Whenever there is a railway track and nearby elephant prone zones are there, the train driver or the loco pilot can be alerted saying that there is a elephant group which is coming, so please slow down. Once they are gone, once they move out, probably the train can be started. These kind of innovations are very simple yet very powerful. I'm going to show you the demo that we have tried. We have tried it in Trivandrum, where veterinary college was there, and they encouraged us to try it out in their premises, and we tried it out. And I'm going to show you the demo right now, which I think you will definitely like. All these are very simple, and this is not expensive again. This is very inexpensive. The entire setup did not cost us more. It was very inexpensive, and I'm going to show you the demo right now, which will help you in understanding how exactly things work. Give me 1 second. Let me launch the demo. I hope you are able to see the screen. And you can see now the Biggie is set up there. The Biggie is all available there. And our system is plotted, or our system is available in between. We have planted the system in between. And you can see that when the elephants started to come, you will see a lot of difference in the data. You can see that the data is all seen over there. I mean, you could definitely see that right now. And the data will increase gradually. 1 second. I think something is wrong with the system, or I do not know what's happening wrong today. 1 second, let me open the file again. Right, I'll share the screen. I cannot restart my machine in between the sessions, so let me continue this way. It's better. You can see the screen, I hope, and you could see the demo right now. You can see that the Biggie is coming. The biggie is all available and it is coming. You can see that here the data is all received properly. And once it is coming, once it has crossed the sensor region, we will get an alert. So the sensors are plotted and the camera will also real time. It is going to acquire the data real time, and we will see that also as part of the demo. You can see that there, the seismic sensors are there. The camera is all capturing the data, and you can see that it's elephant right now, which was visualized. And the bounding box will detect that it is an elephant. So we get an alert. The alert message is popped up, and it can be a GSM call or anything like that, which we can alert. So this is the simplest of example that I can tell you how we can use IoT for conservation purposes. We can conserve elephants, we can conserve any animals, we can detect any animals like those which are intruding, and all these are done real time. I hope you have realized that output is understandable also for you. We used seismic sensors and we used cameras to obtain the data and then to go ahead to understand if it is an elephant. Now, what is the next step, sir? It's very simple. I have shown you how do we detect the water quality. I have also shown you how do we go ahead with understanding the elephant's presence using the human elephant conflict concept. Now I'm going to show you something which is very, very important, which will be definitely appealing for you, and you guys will be definitely appreciative about it. ADM. I'm going to show you. Am I audible? Am I audible? The audio issues are solved right now.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Perfect. Right. So the next thing is going to be very, very interesting. I'm sure you will enjoy it. So what is it, sir? Very simple. ADM. What is ADM? Automated doctor machine. IoT's major contribution comes in the area of healthcare. Remember it. IoT's major contribution can be in the area of healthcare. No other areas can really get you as much as healthcare can get you with IoT. So what we have done is, we have a scheme here in our university. It is called Live in Labs. Live in Labs, which means every summer vacation, we have to go to some interior parts of the country, like interior Karnataka, interior Kerala, interior Andhra, Madhya Pradesh, UP, wherever. And we need to identify the problems that those villages and the people are facing, give a technological solution for it. That's it. That is called the Live in Labs. We need to, and the labs are not the real labs, the labs are nothing but villages. There is where you can find the real problems. There is where you can build products. There is where your engineering should work. So this was an idea of that particular event, and we were part of one such event, and we went to interior Rajasthan, where we understand that there are no medical facilities available, or very remote medical facilities are available. It is too far. For a simple diagnosis, they need to go about 3.5 hours, 4 hours. That kind of places are still available in the country. Though we are developing so much, medicine is still a concern. So what we wanted to do is, we wanted to do something really nice, and there is where the idea of automated doctor machine came into picture. I and a student by name Ashwath, we too built the system, and we started building this system with a lot of hard work and effort, and you could see that right now, and I'm going to show you the demo of it also. The system is very simple. The moment you get into the system, we will give you a ID card. You need to use that card, swipe the card there, and that's all. It's all easy for you. The moment you swipe it, you will get all the details of yours which were fed in by the doctor earlier. Now, when you feed into it, we'll have a list of questions there. It can be in your mother tongue. It can also be in English. It can be voice-based. So we have tried all those. It will ask you what are all the symptoms that you are facing. You've got a lot of problems. You say that you've got some issues, right? Some health issues are there. Now we will list out 50 symptoms. You need to select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The moment you select it, we run our machine learning algorithm inside, and we predict what kind of disease it could be. Now, immediately, we want to understand what is the data that you have in terms of your body temperature and heart rate, so that we can further diagnose it. We immediately eject. We throw a temperature sensor out from the machine. We throw a heart rate sensor from the machine. We acquire the data. And once it is all done, we calculate it, and we tell you that this is the disease that you have, and we also disperse tablet. We are distributing tablets in the machine. We have arranged tablets in a box, and there are motors inside the box. The motors will be working like this. It will push the tablet out, and each tablet, whichever you have been prescribed, will be activated through the internal levers. So you'll get the tablets real time. And I'm going to show you the demo of the same product. And this is one of the best products that I have built along with my team, I would proudly say. And I'm going to go through the same right now. If you can hear the volume, let me know. Can you see the screen? I have shared the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is
Right.
visible, sir.
Right. Let me share it and let me show you how exactly this product has worked. This is a very simple product, yet a very powerful product. This is one of the best I have built till now, I proudly say. I will show you that. If you can hear the audio, let me know. Otherwise, I'll give the voiceover. Could you hear the music? There was some music. Could you hear? No? Could you hear some music which was played? Okay. Okay. I'll tell you that myself. No problem. Please don't use this feature of writing on the screen here. I feel like, yeah, you can see that now we have started connecting the system. This is all built by a very simple set of components. 3,500 rupees was the expense. We used a Raspberry Pi. We used an RFID reader. We used a couple of sensors. The first sensor is nothing but your heart rate. The second sensor is nothing but your temperature sensor. We connected it and we wrote the program by ourselves. We made it look very nice. We made the entire setup look nice. That's it. Whenever you go for any presentation, whenever you go for any hackathon, make sure that your presentation looks very nice. Your product should look nice. So we took a lot of time and effort to make it look nice so that it can be presented nicely to the panel. This was presented in so many contests also. Now you can see that this is the card that I have given and I need to just insert it. I have an RFID reader in the top so I can read it. I have got all the connections ready. I'm powering it up right now and all these are done real time and you are going to see the output real time. That is the heart rate sensor. The second one is the temperature sensor, the longer one. Now we are going to, what do? We are going to start the machine and the entire Raspberry Pi unit is powered by a normal power bank. You can see that here. I am powering it up. That's all. It's all powered and I am booting the machine right now. For audio support, I have used a speaker because we have given voiceover like this and that will prompt the users to appropriately use the system. Now you see that it's all on. The ADM is turned on. ADM is nothing but automated doctor machine. It is turned on. We have created an iOS app. Sir, why did you create iOS app, sir? Very simple. We took a survey and we understood that it is iOS and Apple phones which the doctors are mostly using in India. Not only in India, abroad also they are using it. This system has to be updated by a doctor, which means the doctor has to add the profile of the people who are going to use this because it will be misused otherwise. So we have taken extreme care for that and you can see that we are logging in right now and the registration process is also very simple. I need to give the username, password, Aadhaar number and hospital, whichever hospital the doctor belongs to has to be given and all these are tested and it is functionally working. That's what you are seeing right now and email ID has to be tested. There has to be a password and mobile number is to be mapped appropriately. That's all. The hospital name is Hello World Hospital. As you can see that. That's just for fun. We are programmers, so we gave it that way. Hello World Hospital. And doctor login has been successfully registered. And now I can register the patient. I took Sachin Tendulkar as an example. So his Aadhaar number is put up, his mobile number is put up, date of birth, and the patient's previous report can be uploaded also if we need. That's it. Now the patient ID can be registered and that can be viewed. The patient's previous report is viewed right now for you. That's the most important point that you need to understand. I can view the history of the data. The history of the complete patient is available for you and that's coming from the cloud. Now, how do we generate the report? What are all the process? I'm inserting the card. Now you can see that it says, hello Sachin Tendulkar, welcome and how are you doing? And now all the options will be displayed for you. You can see that this is the previously available report that we have seen. Now all the options would be available for you to select which are all the symptoms that you have right now. Now when I press enter, you will get the list of symptoms. We have collected somewhere close to 50 symptoms and all these are available here. All these are collected through extensive inputs from the doctors. These are all given by doctors. Now I'm entering the symptoms as 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 or something or 18 or something. Immediately my system will start analyzing what kind of disease you have and it will immediately tell you, take the thermometer and give the temperature. So we have taken that right now and the temperature is measured and you can see that that data will go on into the system by itself. you can see that the temperature is entered, right? Your body temperature is feverish. It is above 99, so it is mildly feverish. Also, we want to ensure that if your heart rate is all normal, the heart rate sensor is made available there, and that's taking the data. And once the data is available, that will also go on nicely into the system. All these happen real time. I tell you, all these happen real time, and we should not delay in medicine. In medicine, everything has to be real time. That's what is happening here, and you could see that here. That data is all acquired right now, and it is measuring right now. So you can see that the heart symbol comes, measurement is done. That's all. So the BPM, beats per minute, is 76, and it's also entered. Now what has happened is, it has also told you you need to take a paracetamol, plus you need to take a B complex, and you need to take it in the noon and the morning time, and morning time only you can consume. That's it. The card itself has got money, so the money will be detected. That's it. Now what do? We need to disperse the tablet, right? You could see that internally we have got the motors, and the tablets are dispersed to you right now. That's it. It's called automatic doctor machine or automated doctor machine. This is the most important invention that I would say we have built. So this is very important, and this is very easy. So there is a suggestion from somebody by name Subina Roy. Sir, once try playing the video, removing your headphones. I hope then audio will work. Can we try it once? In that case, problems are solved. Now I am playing the audio. Can you hear the audio now? Is it audible? Is the audio audible?
Not sir, still not audible.
Is the audio audible?
No sir, audio is not still not audible, sir.
Could you hear the audio, Professor Pankaj?
No sir,
If the suggestion works out, that's great.
it's not audible, sir.
Was the audio audible?
No sir, it was not audible.
Right. So whatever I spoke was audible, right? My demo and my explanation
Yeah.
was audible, right? It was clear, no problem,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Your speech was audible, sir.
Great. How did you like the product? Did you see the product as a valuable one? It's all called as telemetry. What do you mean by telemetry? Telemetry is nothing but remote monitoring. Telemetry is all about monitoring remotely. When I do something at some other place, I can acquire the data at some other place, and I can start monitoring it. That's called telemetry. And this is called a medicine telemetry, and that's how we have used it. And it's a very nice setup. You can try it out yourself, and it's very easy to build. There is no rocket science, and it's all easy. Now we'll go to the next one. The next product that we have built is a very interesting product. I'll tell you the story behind it so that you will realize how important it is. Understand one thing. The fundamental thing behind any innovation is curiosity, right? I had my grandmother, who was my mother's mom. She's the one who grew me up all the way. She's the one who always inculcated all this talent. She always tells me that you are a great guy, you will do well. Though I was not a very studious student. I was not a very studious student scoring 95 all time. I score 80 every time consistently. So she used to tell me that you can do a lot, you can push a lot yourself. And today it has happened only because of her blessings. So what happened one day is, she was 84, and one fine evening, she was with my uncle's house, and after dinner she went to her home. Went to her room. She used bathrooms by 11:30, 12 in the night. The restrooms by 11:30, 12 in the night. What has happened is, immediately by 11:30 and 12, when she used the bathrooms, she fell down because it was slippery bathroom. She fell down. It was watery there, and nobody noticed it because it was night, and the doors were locked. No noise came out. And in the setup that we have right now, all of us have separate rooms, and once locked, that's all. Morning only we wake up, right? So my uncle missed it, unfortunately. Morning by 4:30, this old lady has the habit of drinking coffee. So my uncle took a coffee, and he knocked the door. The door was not open. He knocked the door so many times, and it was not open. He understood something is wrong, and he broke open the door. He has to break open the door, and he did it. And inside the bathroom, she was all in blood. She was bleeding, and she was still alive, thankfully. So we took her to the hospital. There were 4 or 5 operations that happened in a time frame of 3 or 4 days, because we missed the golden hours. In medicine field, if you talk about accidents, They will tell you that please bring the patient within the golden hour time frame. We can save. Golden hour is the time, very limited time. What we have in hand after the accident. That's called golden hour. Silver hour, then bronze hour. That's like that. Golden hour, if you can take the patient, chances are there for them to be saved. Now we missed that golden hour, and obviously silver hour was also missed. We took her around after 5 hours, 4 hours. We took her, so she didn't survive. She underwent 3 or 4, at least 4 surgeries she underwent, and nothing worked out. Unfortunately, she passed away. But she had consciousness. That's the best part of it. I was very much near her, and one thing she told me was, instead of this, I should have died there itself. That statement was very pricking. That is a very nasty statement out from a lady who is undergoing a lot of trouble, and that too from a grandmother whom you love so much. It was not a right statement to hear. So she passed away. Then we completed the cremation. When I came out of the cremation hall, the first thing that I had in my mind is to do something for this. I started doing research, extreme studies. I went through each and every nook and corner about the old person's fall. Then I understood that it is a major problem. The death rate in the elderly is mostly because of a fall. The elderly people die, the elderly people face injuries mostly because of fall, and that is a very important cause for their death. I understood that. Then I went through further to see if it is a problem only for India or it is a problem for the entire world. I'll show you a PPT which I have prepared for this, and this is the one that we have presented in Harvard University last year during October, and we have won the first prize for this product. You can see that falls constitute to 25.2% of the mortality rate, which means almost 1/4 of the elderly death is happening because of falls. And there are no monitoring systems available for tracking the elderly falls. And other very important point that you need to remember is, by 2014, there were 29 million falls all over the world. 29 million falls out of 46 million adults. By 2030, which means when you and me are growing little old, there will be 49 million falls which are predicted, out of which 12 million injuries will be there. And every 1 second in the world, every 1 second, there is an adult who is falling, elderly adult who is falling. And please understand, 1 out of every 4 adults is probable to fall. So there is a lot of reasons that we need to work on it. When I got all the statistics, I got enthusiastic, which means that we need to do something for this, and that's what we started doing. And we started building a product. We built a product, and I'm going to show you that as well. The product is all about, the first stage of the product is all about, we need to find out the falls. That was the only intention in my mind then. So we detected the fall by using the gyroscope and the accelerometer. How do we detect it, sir? Very simple. When I eat, I'll eat like this. When I walk, I'll walk like this. But when I fall, I'll tend to swing both the arms at a very high rate. I'll swing it at a very high rate. So the rate at which the data comes out from your accelerometer and the gyroscope is much higher than the rate at which you normally use it. That's all. Fundamental scenario. We have the threshold. We collected a lot of data, and when you compare this data with the fall data, we can easily spot in seconds we did it. And then we also want to know where exactly the fall has happened. So we added a GPS. The GPS coordinates are available with us. Now, when you go to the hospital, the doctors will ask you a question. Why did the fall happen? We may not know that, right? So for that, we have recorded the heart rate for the past 1 week. After 1 week, we will keep pushing it into the cloud. So heart rate is consistent. And if the fall is reported, it could not be because of heart failure or heart related problems. It could not be because of BP. It could be because of a slip. It could be because of a patch floors. So a doctor can come into a quick conclusion that, okay, we need not treat for heart, instead we can treat for this. So that's a support. So we added a heart rate module there. We collected all this data. We made this as a wearable. This is a watch. This entire setup is a watch. We made this as a wearable. We collected that data in the microcontroller. We pushed it onto the server. We also have an app, Android app for the caretaker. The caretaker gets an alert or a call immediately once the fall is reported. This was presented for some funding. We wanted fund to build this. We do not have fund, obviously. So we wanted fund. Then in the presentation panel, there was one old gentleman who asked me a question. See, Sriram, you are telling that you are detecting fall. Yes, very nice, great, it's working fine. I'll show you the demo also. It's working fine. But where did your grandmother fall? I told it's in the bathroom. Can she wear this watches in the bathroom? Will you think the elderly people will wear this kind of watches inside the bathroom? If you ask them to wear something inside the bathroom, they will say no. And if you tell them that you wear, and if you fall in the bathroom, you will find out they will definitely not wear. So that was a very important input for me. And he said that you find out a method which can avoid usage of this wearable inside the restrooms. I'll give you fund. This is what was conveyed. Then we broke our head for about 20 days and we got an idea. The idea is nothing but the piezoelectric plate. There is something called as piezoelectric plate. The piezoelectric material, when you give impact like this, it generates output. Output voltage is generated. What we made is we made the entire bathroom as tiles with piezoelectric plates covering over it. When you and me are standing, we need only 2 or 3 tiles to be covered maximum. But when we fall, how many tiles will we cover? We'll cover at least 7-8 tiles. When the output voltage come from 7 or 8 tiles at a time, we'll understand that it is a fall in the bathroom and we make calls immediately. Without camera, without any additional setup, we were able to detect that and we got that funding. And this entire product was demonstrated in the Harvard University, and we got the first prize also under the category elderly care for the last year 2019, beating other countries to the second and the third place. This was not sufficient for us to win there. We have to do more things. What is it? In the Western countries, there will be mansions. There will be a lot of huge mansions over there where the elderly people will all be managed and they'll be taken care of. So to identify them exactly where they are in, we needed a little more things. So for that, we have to do the indoor localization, and I'm going to show you that. We also have the feature where we suggest the nearby hospitals, we suggest the route, everything is shown very clearly. And I'm going to show you the demo right now for this, for which also I'll explain very clearly how exactly it works. I definitely hope you will like it because it is one of the best products we have built, I believe. I'll share the screen right now so that you can see it. Till now, I hope you have understood the reason behind why do we go for this product. And now I'm going to share the screen for the demo video. You can see that here. Now that is the wearable that my student is wearing. His name is Kaushik. That's the wearable. And you can see that the data is all consistently coming. The moment he falls, you can see that it will generate an alert as well as he'll get a call. This is a wearable that we have built. It's a simple wearable. It's no complex. It's very easy to build. We spent around 2,500 rupees to get this built. And you can see that now he is going to fall. He will fall right now. And yes, he has fallen. And you can see that help message has come. And immediately call will come in the mobile. The caretaker's mobile will get a call. And now we have implemented the setup in the restroom. You can see that there are IR sensors available over there to understand that somebody has entered the bathroom. And you can see that there are two force sensitive resistors here. They are nothing but the piezoelectric materials. And these piezoelectric materials, when one piezoelectric material is pressed, you do not have any output because it is normal. When you press 2, it means that there is a fall occurred and it will raise an alert. See that now. I am pressing just 1. No, it is a normal thing. No alert, nothing. It is like standing over only one tile. But when you press 2 tiles, when you press 2 piezoelectric plates, you have fallen over multiple tiles, and that's an alert. That's what I'm doing right now. And you could see that there is an alert. Help from the bathroom message has come, and immediately in seconds you will get calls in your mobile. And this is all real time, and this was very appreciated by the panel as well. And we have now detected that the fall is reported. We made an Android app. As usual, we need to go with an Android app for everything. Otherwise, the end user might not be comfortable. Now we made an Android app and I'm logging in right now. You could see that it's a very simple interface. So learn using Android, and you need to build Android apps. Without apps, things are not going to be easy for you. Now you could see that I am typing the username and the password. Once it is done, login is all done. And you can see that I have got bands added there. I can add as many number of bands as I want. And each band can be related to a particular person. Dad band, mom band, something like that I can always give. You can see that new band I have added right now, and I'm giving the name like that. So you can see the new band is available there. I can add a corresponding phone number and the caretaker's number also. So I have done that too. It's all very simple interface. And learn one very important thing. Whenever you build a product, it should be easy to use. If it is complicated, it's not usable. Make it simple. Now what do we do is I'm going to show you the fall data, where the fall has been reported. You can see that there are 3 bands available right now in the hostel. This is called the Navigin. The screen is called the Navigin. This screen tells you what is the setup that you have in the old age house or your house. We can get that model designed using Navigin, and you can see that there are 3 bands right now available over there. Band 2, band 3 is all spotted there right now. And when you navigate, it will tell you where exactly to go. That is the area where the fall is reported. That's very important. It's a very simple sensor. We have used accelerometer, gyroscope, GPS sensor, and heart rate sensor to get you the data. That's the triangle which shows you where exactly the fall has been reported. Now, the next thing is very important. I'm going to show you that as well. I want to navigate to the fall location. When you click that, it will take you to the fall location. If you are the son or daughter and your mother or father has fallen, you need to understand where exactly the fall is reported. That's what is presented right now in front of you. So you can get into the navigation mode where it will direct you. Also, we'll get you the nearby hospitals available for you to admit your parents or the concerned persons who have fallen immediately, and that's also presented in front of you right now. All these are recorded along with a complete analysis of your current status. We can see the posture analysis, we can see the heart rate status. We also tell you are stressed or not, are you stable or unstable, normal or abnormal, everything is done. Now you can see that the same person is walking with the band, and right hand side there is a blue dot that is moving. This is called indoor localization, and we can spot where exactly that particular person is using this method. It's very simple yet a very effective method. With this, we have won the first prize in the Harvard. Also, we have won the prizes in Tech Game kind of contest within India. It was a very respectable product, and now this is a startup. We've got a startup by name Lupus Weartech, and we are making this as a watch for the elderly. But now we have only one watch. You need not wear two watches. We will make only one watch, and that one watch, if you wear, we'll spot exactly if you have fallen. I hope you liked it. How did you like it? All these products, whatever I have displayed, did you all like it?
Yes, it was wonderful, sir.
I need people to chat in the chat box saying if they have liked it or they are all in a sleepy mode. I'm not boring, right? Kids, am I
No,
boring?
sir, not at all. You are not boring, sir. It was so interesting.
Right. Can we go to one more product quickly?
Yes, sir, sure, sir.
Right.
Thank you,
So, thank you very much. So I'm going to show you something more which is very, very interesting, as well as it is going to be important as well for us to understand how do we avoid the driver drowsiness problem. You must have heard that you have heard that, or you must have heard about the stories where the driver has slipped off and the accidents have happened because of it, right? When I sleep off and I doze off, I meet with accident. So that's a normal problem that we have. So we wanted to do something for it. I'm totally connected to all these accident avoidance systems. As I told you yesterday, we lost a person in our family because of an accident. So I work 99% on accident avoidance systems. I will also show you some demos on machine learning and deep learning tomorrow, which will let you understand how exactly the driver monitoring systems or how exactly the deep learning can be used for that kind of systems. I'll show that as well. But before that, let me tell you how exactly things work here. And let me go to the demo right away where I can give you the insights of how it works. It's a very simple product what we have built. Let me launch it. 1 second. Because of the issue of the voiceover, there is a problem, but still, yeah, we could manage it. Can you see the screen? I hope the screen is visible. You can see that in advanced cars, the system is available, but in the low-end cars like Maruti or low-end cars like Hyundai, we do not have it. You can see that you got to be careful. Being drowsy is just bad as being drunk. People say that being drunk even is okay, but being drowsy is not at all good. Drivers who get less than 5 hours of sleep are having more risk to crash the cars. So what do we do? Very simple. We are going to detect if the driver has dozed off or is about to doze off. This is called white line fever. People on seeing the white line in the highways, they get completely carried away with it. And this is the architecture that we have used. The driver's facial reactions are captured through a simple camera. And also we use a sensor called OBD. I'll show you where exactly to place it. This is the sensor that we have used, and this is in my car that I have tested it. This sensor is capable of getting you the steering angle, the speed, everything. This along with the driver's reactions, the facial reactions, we will be able to understand if the driver is dozing off. What do you do, sir? How do you do? Very simple. The driver's eyes are captured continuously, and if it is closed for more than about 5 seconds, I'll be able to detect, and that can be done with a simple mathematics called eye aspect ratio, EAR detection. That's done, and once it is done, I can conclude that the driver is about to doze off. But that is not sufficient. When you are about to sleep, what will you do? You will lose the concentration. What do you mean by that? Very simple. Your steering angle will be straight. It will be like this. And where acceleration is there, right? The pedaling, the acceleration speed, it will also be constant. If the acceleration is constant, and if the steering wheel is constant and consistent without moving, and if your eye aspect ratio is set, we determine that there is a sleeping mode which is set for you. And all these are tested, and I'm going to show you the output right now. It's a very simple setup which you will definitely like, and this is all built in-house. And we have used it this way. We take the data from the camera and the OBD, we analyze that in the server, and we use a Python script to do a data analytics quickly, and we alert the concerned person. We alert the concerned person immediately, right? By sprinkling water, or we can use the voice of his son or daughter or somebody whom he loves so much. Dad, don't drive while sleeping. Or if you want to threaten him, you can use the voice of mother-in-law to threaten him. It's very simple. So you can see that now the real-time demo is presented to you right away. This is the OBD sensor. I'm talking in the background actually, that is my car. So it's a simple Maruti Wagon-R car. So you can see that I'm going to connect this. Most of us would not have known that there is a place for connecting the sensor. They have got app available for it, and the app is called OBD Doctor. There are many apps available, and one app I have used is OBD Doctor. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to launch the app, as well as I'm going to connect this sensor on the slot. How do you connect it, sir? Very simple. I need to bend a little bit. I'm going to do some exercise. You can see that here I was a little young then. I have lost more hair right now. It was done before 1.5 years. You can see that I'm connecting the sensor over there, and you could see that the sensor is getting a light on it which says that it's all up and running. It's all okay to go. Now when I start the car, you can see that all the data will come here. The diagnostic data, you can see that fuel, the RPM, the battery power, economy, steering angle, everything comes over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my pedaling. I mean, I accelerate. You can see that immediately the RPM has increased. Now I am slowing it down. I'll increase it again. You can see that it's increasing and decreasing appropriately. So this data is available in your local storage, and we can use that data. Very simple. And this data is used along with the eye aspect ratio data, and we will declare that this person is about to sleep. And all these are done real time. And I'm going to show you the second part of it right now, where you will be able to see that clearly. It's very simple. It's not as complex as we think. The code is run now, and you can see that eyes are tracked properly. And once it is deviated, once we understand that there is a sleep mode, you get a message alert right on the screen. I'll show you that right away, which will be helpful for you to understand the system's functionality in complete. You are deviated. You can see that here, you are deviated message has come in the left corner of the screen, which is available here, with which you can raise an alert and say that you are done, be careful. That's it. It's very simple, right? It's very simple. How did you like it? You liked it all? It's very simple and it's very effective. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some assignment today. All right? Can you do assignment? I'm not going to ask you to write anything, right? I'm not going to ask you to write anything. I know being a teacher, getting something to be written is very difficult. I don't want you to do that. I will give you an assignment. Please go ahead and learn what is blockchain. Just read about blockchain and come back. Blockchain, because I'm going to show you some demo tomorrow about blockchain. Before that, I think I'll fix up the issue with the laptop also, so that we can listen to it without any issue. And blockchain, just learn what is blockchain. If you are not having any material, go to my channel. I've already given you the details of my channel. Go to my channel, and in that channel, you will be having all the details. Blockchain, what is it? Why do we need blockchain? This kind of fundamental information, if we can have, that's great. Now it's time for you to question me. If you have any questions, please ask me. I will be able to answer. Type your questions in the chat box. I'll be happily answering them. Wow, good. Who is that Galaxy Note 10? I don't know. What is your name? Sir, as the mostly functional parts are in IoT are the sensors, so there will be an issues with IoT uptime caused by environmental, so they may affect the, yes, of course. The whatever sensors we are using should be industry standard. Whatever sensors we have for the demo purposes here are not industry standard, they will be affected. So we need to have sensors and also backup for the sensors which can prevent the damages. The device load and bandwidth limitations. Yes, we need to have appropriate devices. The Arduino kind of boards are not sufficient for implementation at the industry level. You need to have the boards like UP Squared or NVIDIA Jetson kind of boards which can really withstand a lot of load. Otherwise, it won't. So it's to be done carefully. Any other question? Only 2 questions, that too from yesterday. Any other questions for the day, kids? I'll be happy to answer them. Any other questions? Pankaj?
No, sir. It
Of
was a
course.
fabulous presentation from your side, sir.
Thank you very much. And Pankaj, I want you to stay in line. Once everyone has left, we will test it why it has happened. And maybe
Okay.
I'll reboot my machine and I'll join again. You be there.
Sure,
I'll
sure, sir,
join
sure.
again. Let rest of them go off. I want to find out what exactly is the point there in my laptop. Something has gone wrong. I don't
Exactly,
want
sir.
this to be continued tomorrow because it's very difficult. I have made the videos pretty clear for these kids to understand. So I don't want it to be unused. Yeah,
Exactly,
somebody
sir.
has
We'll
got.
find solution.
Yeah, we will. We are finding solutions for many other
Yes, sir.
problems. This is peanuts.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Divyanshu Jadhav. What is your question? You have one. What do you have one? You have a chocolate for me? I'll happily take it. Give me. What is your question, Mr. Divyanshu? How can you fit the floor sense in every tile? You need not fit it on the entire tile. Come on. We will not get that size. The piezoelectric sensor is capable of detecting the vibration if you keep it in the center of it. It's just this size. It is coin size. You can keep it and that is sufficient. The entire tile you cannot fit. It's very cheap. One sensor is costing me 80 paise. 80 paise is the market cost. We can fix it, no problem. I hope I answered your question, Divyanshu. Now, all of you, please leave the hall so that I and Pankaj sir can test the system and we can get it right for you for tomorrow. I hope you like the session. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll be happily answering it tomorrow at least. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Bye-bye, kids.
Thank you so much, all participants. Kindly leave this meeting.
I'll reboot my machine and I'll join again, sir.